All right, fantastic. And we're live. So, yesterday, the Nasdaq had its worst day since April. And it's all Nvidia's fault. Today, Nvidia is bouncing back and the markets seem to bounce back. It's so weird. Then we also had consumer confidence released this morning. And we want to talk to you about a WTF trade, one of the fastest trades that we have had in a while. Anyhow, there's a lot to talk about. So, with that said, welcome to Coffee with Markus and Mark. And today is Tuesday, June 25th. And in this show, we're going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and how we are trading these crazy markets. All right. So here we go. The S&P market seems that this rally is kind of stalling here a little bit. But we have seen this before, right? I mean, we're going up, then we're moving sideways. We're going up, moving sideways, going higher, moving sideways. So is this a continuation, or do we finally see a retracement here?
Well, I wouldn't really say this is a retracement at this point. I mean, if we just take the closing prices, and I mean, you could show a line chart. We're barely moving, right? And so at this point, it's consolidation. We'll see if we get another leg higher, and if we make new highs, or if we are due for a pull. I mean, we're due for a pullback, but this is nothing right now.
Yeah, so there's the line chart. Sorry, it took me a minute there. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit of consolidation that we see here. And it's so interesting because everything seems to hinge on Nvidia. So yesterday, we had a little bit of a down day here in the Nasdaq. Nothing major really. So yesterday we were down 1.09%. And this was the worst day since April. I mean, this tells you something about the markets.
Yeah, worst day since April 19th, and we see Nvidia in correction territory, down 10% from those highs. But looks like, at least for today, traders saw it as a buying opportunity, with Nvidia up almost 4% now.
Yeah, and it's so ridiculous how everything seems to hinge on Nvidia. What happened here? I just see that Chipotle Mexican Grill is now the most valuable company. Well, there seems to be.
You know, that probably has to do with some misunderstood data with the recent split.
Yeah, I believe so too, because this is like, okay, probably not, because we can take a look at CMG here for a moment. And so I think they're about to split tomorrow.
I think it's after the close today, and it's a 50-for-1 split, but it looks like maybe that was priced into that site that you were using, because Chipotle is not the most valuable company in the world
It
by
is
far.
not. I mean, even if it would be, it just jumped 103 spots. So, anyhow,
Yeah.
so here's kind of how ridiculous it is. Look at the headline this morning on CNBC. The S&P and 500 and the Nasdaq rise as Nvidia rebounds. I mean, nothing else seems to
Yeah.
matter at all. It just, the whole market is about Nvidia, Nvidia, Nvidia. I mean, I'm kind of getting sick and tired talking about Nvidia. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, are there some AI plays out there that are going to start to get some more attention? We'll have to see. But I mean, Nvidia has just been such a huge player for the last year and a half. It's hard not to talk about Nvidia.
It's hype. It's all hype. Because, I mean, really, we talked about it this week, what traders are focusing on. For today, it was consumer confidence. And then, of course, on Friday, we have the core PCE index. Now, consumer confidence came in lower than expected from the previous months. I mean, this is what kind of what, but better than expectation. So, what do you think about that? Good news, bad news, no news?
I think that the market said it all, and that is, yeah, there was barely a reaction. Maybe a little bit to the upside, but I mean, that to me is what really matters. It's what do traders think? What do investors think? And we see there that right around 10 a.m. Eastern, a little bit of a positive move. So maybe if the employment situation is getting a little bit weaker and the inflation is getting a little bit better and the Fed is leaning more towards rate or cuts, sorry, that maybe consumer confidence increasing is a positive, but this is just a tiny blip on the radar.
Yeah, and so looking also at the economic calendar, we have a lot of Fed members speaking. So yesterday we had Fed member Waller speaking. We had Fed member Daly speaking. Now, Fed member Daly said that there's more work to do before cutting rates. And then this morning we had Fed member Bowman speaking, and Bowman said that she is still open to raising rates if inflation doesn't improve.
Yeah. I mean, okay, like at some point, Captain Obvious, yeah, if inflation's getting worse and it's not improving, of course, rate increases are on the table, but that's just not where we're at right now. It's all
Yeah.
about when we're going to get a cut.
And this is where also looking at what Fed funds traders think, she seems to be very lonely with that perspective because nobody is considering
Yeah.
here any. I mean, there's zero probability of rate hikes. I mean, everything points to lowering interest rates. And the question remains when and also how often. Fed funds traders are still
Yeah.
factoring in 2 rate cuts for this year. So this is where we see by September. And we'll see who's right. The Fed has said, nope, we're only doing one. So get used to this. But I mean, it seems that we're getting some encouraging data from the inflation front.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one or two, that is the question. But Fed funds futures has been extremely optimistic over the last 2 years. So, right now, I wouldn't count on it.
It has been, and if you look at this morning, rates are a little bit higher, but in the overall picture right now, rates are not going anywhere. I mean, we're looking at the 2-year
Yeah.
yield here right now. I mean, it has eased from the 5% where they were to 4.4 and 3/4. The 10-year yield dropping a little bit more here. But I mean, this is not significant moves to the upside or the downside. It really, a lot will hinge on Friday's core PCE report because that's the Fed's favorite inflation gauge.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, until then, what else is going on? Oh my gosh, yeah, we did have some earnings this morning from Carnival Cruises. And look at this, up 6.7% on better than expected earnings.
Yeah, that's a nice little move there. And they had an earnings beat, actually reported positive earnings and versus a loss that was expected. So that was a surprise. Revenue also better.
Yeah. And then after the bell, we do have FedEx reporting, and this will be interesting and probably also affecting our UPS position. Right now, FedEx down 1.3%, kind of against the overall market. I mean, the Dow is down a little bit, but S&P and Nasdaq are up. So we'll see what happens here after the bell.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm surprised that UPS is pulling back so much right now. Still kind of in this support zone, but FedEx and that reaction could definitely move UPS as well.
Yeah. Well, since we're already talking about UPS, let's start there. So this is one of our wheel trades that we have. I bought it for 157.50. You bought it for a little bit higher. I think it was 162.50 or 165, somewhere around there.
165. Yep.
Yeah. So right now, I mean, we're down here to 134. Not a whole lot. I mean, this is where I just wanted to check how much am I down on this one. I mean, that's 14%. So it's not enough yet to fly a rescue mission, but we see that UPS has found some solid support here at 134, and right now the 132 is available, probably because there is some more volatility here because of FedEx earnings.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. All right, so nothing to do there. Then we do have IWM. So this will be interesting. I mean, we got assigned at 202. We already sold calls several times against our 202. Right now, pulling back a little bit. Let's see if our calls expire again. Worthless. Great. We're selling more calls, collecting more premium. I think this trade is just working out fantastic.
Oh yeah, I love it. I actually have an order for a 1 day 80% max profit exit. Not there yet. About 50% is where we stand. So probably not going to happen, but wanted to have that working just in case.
Yeah. And then we have Halliburton. We both got assigned at 34.50. Yesterday, we were trading well above 34.50. Right now at 34.47. So we sold calls against our existing position for half of a position because we also want to sell calls at a higher price against the other half. So let's see if Halliburton is pulling higher, and we might get called away on half of our position at the end of the week, and then being able to sell more calls. For you, you said 36 would be fine. I
Yep.
decided to go with 36.50. So we'll see. But this is another trade that is working out just great. Fantastic.
Yeah, just like we would want.
Yeah. CSIQ, little buddy here this morning, pulling a little bit lower. And we were interested in selling the possibly 15 or even 15.50 puts with the idea to get assigned here and lowering our cost basis.
Yeah, we had a mastermind member in our call today mention the 1550, and I took a look at the numbers, and quite honestly, there isn't a big difference to the cost, but like doing a rescue at this point definitely helps our cost basis. So
Yeah.
it makes sense, but 15 versus 1550, not a huge change. So I'm kind of looking at both. I don't have an order in. I'm watching to see what CSIQ does. Down a little bit. We'll see if we could.
So, and not quite sure why CSIQ is down. Could have something to do with Solar Edge. Did you see the news about Solar Edge?
I did.
So Solar Edge offering.
Yeah, offering.
You go ahead.
They made a $300 million offering of convertible notes. So diluting shares never helps the stock.
Yeah. So this is why they're down today, 15%. Don't know if CSIQ is being dragged down by this, but it is rebounding right now off the session lows. So we'll see what happens. If it goes back to the session lows, I'll be happy to sell the 1550 puts.
Agreed.
All right. WTF. So we do have still one open trade. I'm not in this one, but you are. Moderna, mRNA. So I believe that you entered at 136.58, right now trading at 137. So making a little bit of money on it. We'll see
Yeah.
when you exit. And then probably one of the fastest trades that we have had in a while, Philip Morris. An entry signal yesterday going long at 119. The exit signal today, it was a little bit higher. It was at, I think, 102, somewhere around there.
Yep.
So great. How much money did you make on this trade?
Well, I had to wear my shirt in honor of this trade because Marcus, you had me overthink this one. I take full accountability for all of my trading decisions, but we were talking about this yesterday morning, and we just overthought it a little bit. Yeah, so we passed, seeing if maybe we'd get a better entry. Right, we have that open below entry list, and nope.
We were
This
hoping
was a nice
for an open below entry. Didn't happen. So how much money did we all make on this trade? A whopping $0. We missed this one. But hey, all the others worked out great that we have taken this month.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it has been a great month for WTF trades. All right. So, before we take a look at where the markets are right now, if they're diddling along or if they're finding some direction, Yesterday we had a race to the bottom with our jokes. So can we get better today, or how bad is it? And fair warning, I'm still on my race to the bottom.
I was gonna say it could only get better from
Oh
here,
no, 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 no,
Marcus.
no, not for me.
It could only get worse. All right, so Marcus, I know that you try different diets and that you've done some fasting and everything, but did you hear about the almond diet?
No.
It's just nuts.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. You might actually win this one. Okay. But here's a race to the bottom. What do you call a duck on drugs? A quackhead.
So that is so bad. It's kind of good, and you might just win this one because it's so bad.
All right. Vote for Pedro. Vote for me. Okay. With that said, let's see what's happening. So, oh, look at this. With that joke, I mean, the S&P 500 is trading at session highs today, which means absolutely nothing because we kind of opened around there. I mean, as you can see, this is where we opened. So, moved a little bit lower, moved a little bit higher, a little bit lower, and right now trading just slightly above where we opened yesterday. Let's see what's happening here in the Dow. I think the Dow is being pulled down today. So that's kind of interesting because over the last few days, we saw kind of a rotation out of the Nasdaq into the Dow. But now today, there seems to be a reversal again. So tech, yay. And this is why the Nasdaq today making already new session highs, opening higher and then up, up and away. So probably and mostly driven by our good old friend Nvidia, which is now up
Yeah.
5.2% already.
Hey Marcus, something you don't see every day, but look at the indices one more time right now. This is the exact opposite of where we ended the day yesterday. So the S&P is up 0.3%. Yesterday, S&P closed down 0.3%. The Dow's down 0.6%. Yesterday, it closed up 0.6%. The Nasdaq's up 1.1%. Yesterday, it closed down 1.1%. So a complete flip flop. You don't always see that every day.
Yeah. Wow. That's kind of crazy. All right. Anyhow, so let us know if you enjoyed the show and if you enjoyed the information that we are giving here. And if so, do us a favor and click on like. And if you enjoyed today's joke, click on like. If you find that this was information worth sharing, there's a share button underneath. Please feel free to share it with your friends. And if you're new to the channel, click on subscribe because we will be back tomorrow letting you know what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. Until then, have a great rest of your day.
Happy trading, everybody.